Okay, the first question we are looking at expansion, right? This skill is required in terms of simplifying whatever is given to you, right? For example, in this case, there are two brackets, 2 minus m over 2 and 2 plus m over 2, and we are trying to multiply this out, right? So each term should be multiplied once to each other. We can start off by taking 2 times 2, which equals to 4, right? And then after that we can go on to 2 times m plus 2, 2 times m over 2, which is m, right? A positive m. Then after that we will take m over 2, negative m over 2 times 2, which will give me negative m. And then afterwards I will take negative m over 2 times positive m over 2, which will give me negative m squared over 4. Okay? And in total, if I were to summarize everything, that would be plus minus cancel. Okay? And that will give me 4 minus m squared over 4. Okay, so some of you may realize that there is actually an easier way to do this other than manually expanding this expression. What you can do is that you can actually take the formula a minus b, a plus b, and then you realize that that will give me a squared minus b squared, which means that I'll take 4, which is 2 squared, and minus m squared over 4, because that is the square of m over 2. Sorry, so this will be m over 2 squared. Yeah, so that is also another way to actually see how to get the answer. Okay, in the second question we are talking more about the value of x minus y square, which is again another expansion. If you think about it, x minus y square is the same as x minus y times x minus y. So if you can tell, what the question is asking you is, can you expand this expression and then tell me what that value is? Okay, so let's expand it. It will be x squared if I take x times x, and then afterwards I will take x times negative y, which will give me minus xy, and then I will take minus y times x, which will also give me another minus xy, and then lastly I will take minus y times minus y, which will give me positive y squared, because minus minus becomes plus, and I will get x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So if these are all equivalent, then do you see how there is an x squared and a y squared here? That will then be equivalent to 38 according to the question, right? So I will just leave it as this. By substituting it in, it will be 38 minus 2xy, and xy happens to be negative 8. So in the end, I'll get 38 plus 16, which is 54. So the answer will be 54. And that is all that's required. The method mark will be getting the expanded form, as well as this answer mark here. Okay, take note that actually I can also get this from the formula, which is a plus b square is the same as a square plus 2ab plus b square. Okay, so I take the front square, the back square, and then take 2 times of the front and the back. Right, that was what we learned previously as well. Okay. Okay, question 3, we are talking about factorization. Okay, and before we actually think about what to do in which cases, right, let's think about the idea of factorization, which means taking out common factors. Okay, and then after taking out common factors, another definition of factorization is to find out what multiplied by what will give me the values that you see. So in other words, bracket, right? So first, before I can start the bracket, maybe what I want to do is I want to take out any common factors. And here I have 192 divided by 3 is 64 g squared, and then if I were to divide 75 by 3, it would be 25. In other words, I will get a g squared minus 25. Do you notice something about these two things? This is a square and this is also a square. So I will get plus minus, right, based on the formula, right, bracket, and it will be 8g, which is the square root of 64g squared, and if I square root 25, I will get 5, and then 5 and 8g again. So 8g plus 5, 8g minus 5 multiplied to each other will give me the square minus the other square, right? And that is the full bracket form of it. Okay, so after I do this one, another thing that you need to remember is factorization by grouping. So in the case that there are 4 terms or more, right, it is a lot of terms to deal with. So what we want to do is that we actually take only the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms and group them together and factorize accordingly. So if I were to take out the common factor between the first 2 terms is x, and then I take out the common factor between the last 2 terms, it will be 2. And just nice, between this front and back, there is a common factor y minus 3, which leaves me with x plus 2 times y minus 3. And then that will be y minus 3 times x plus 2 as my bracket. Okay, lastly, in this case, where we are looking at this, there's one itchy feeling that you get where you feel like you should expand the 3n plus 4 square to actually combine it with the 9n and 12. But what I can say is that if you are a bit faster and you can tell that 9n and 12 have a common factor of negative 3, and you try to factorize that out, okay, then you will get negative 3 taken out of negative 9n and negative 12, you get positive 3n plus 4. Then what you realize is, hey, isn't this a common factor between the front and the back terms? So if you take that out, okay, you're left with 3n plus 4, one copy of it, minus 3. And you will get 3n plus 4, 3n plus 1. And that is your final answer. The end.